Who doesn't love Edna from Tales of Zestiria? Everybody loves Edna, and if you're at all familiar with her character, it's no wonder why. Being manufactured by Altair and being such a beloved character, people have high hopes and expectations for this figure. So let's see how the final product measures up. As expected, Edna's box design is identical to the other 3 Tales of Zestiria figure boxes. This isn't really a good thing in my opinion, because I don't really care for the design at all. I get what they were trying to go for, but I just don't find it aesthetically pleasing or especially practical. Taking a look at the figure itself, I should probably address one of people's biggest fears about this figure first, that being the base. Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is that yes, she does come with the hideous and horribly impractical brown diamond. But the good news is that it's completely optional this time around. You can have the rock simply by itself. I think that's a very smart move on Altair's behalf. Speaking of smart moves, I'm sure I wasn't the only one curious as to how Altair would handle Edna's umbrella. Or is it a parasol? I'm not quite sure. But either way, I was afraid that I would have to assemble pretty much all of it. Thankfully, all you have to do is attach the love-shaped handle. Do be warned though, it's not hard to break one of the wires in the frame of the umbrella. I know, because that's exactly what happened when I was trying to put the umbrella through her hands. Thankfully, it's nothing that a bit of superglue can't fix. So, as you might have noticed so far in this review, there's been a trend. Plenty of aspects could have gone wrong in the production of this figure, and perhaps in the hands of a less experienced or skilled manufacturer they might have, but not in Altair's safe hands. Just as a general concept, this figure hits the nail on the head. I was disappointed that despite being a water seraph, Miklio's figure didn't have anything to do with water at all. But with Edna's being an earth seraph, it only makes sense for Edna to be sitting atop a rock. If you ask me, it's much more interesting and fitting than a generic battle pose, which is something that way too many Tales figures are guilty of. Both the sculpt and paint is as you would expect, flawless. The small details and intricacies in Edna's designs are what really shines through in this figure. There are countless patterns and layers and little touches here and there. Perhaps the biggest praise I could give this figure is that it really makes you realise just how great her character design is. And any figure with flowers immediately catches my interest. Edna's paint job really brings out the warmth in her blonde, yellowy, orangey colours, and they really contrast with her blue eyes, and they really pop. The rock doesn't feel too cheap or hollow as well. It has some nice touches to it, like the moss for example. And of course, the icing on the cake is a doll of Phoenix the Norman hanging off Edna's umbrella. That little touch alone just adds so much more charm. If I have any other complaints, it might be that her expression is just a little too dead for her own good. It's not out of character by any means, but perhaps an alternative faceplate with her trademark cheeky smirk would have been great. Edna deserved a great figure, and I'm happy to say, we got one. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy collecting. Bye-bye.